and attend if they would like. And the last thing I need to do is go ahead and read through our hearing script. This basically just covers the procedure for the hearing, and then we'll jump right into it. So this is the August 4th, 2021 session of the zoning hearing examiner docket. My name is David Sturkey. I'm the zoning hearing examiner for the city of Cincinnati, and I'll preside over this hearing. The case before us today is case number ZH20210100. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and opposing parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any opposing party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing, unless a party has submitted evidence or testimony in the form of writing prior to this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. If there were anyone here from the public, they would have an opportunity to present after the applicant has presented its case. In the event that any party, I'm also going to give Doug Owen, our zoning plans examiner, an opportunity to add some testimony if he would like. In the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to an application, the applicant should have an opportunity to rebut that testimony and or argument offered in opposition. And then finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make a closing statement. So guys, I'll just let, since it's just the applicants here, I'll let applicants and owners, I'll let each of you provide testimony if you would like, or just one of you, however you guys want to orient the presentation is completely up to you. Just basically want to hear about the project, why the variance request is necessary. I'll give Doug an opportunity to weigh in, and I'll give you guys an opportunity to respond to anything Doug has said, or just to provide any closing remarks. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit, excuse me, or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or to make any comments. I may also refuse to consider hearsay testimony or documents. This generally means evidence you want to introduce that consists of statements made by a person who is not present at the hearing. In the event of any technical difficulties or unforeseen circumstances, we'll do our best to troubleshoot those on the fly, but to the extent there's some tech defect that prevents us from meaningfully going forward with the hearing, I may continue or postpone this hearing at my discretion. Okay, I think that's it. The last thing I need to do is just swear in all of our witnesses. So if you intend on providing any testimony here today, making any comments, asking any questions, really doing anything other than just strictly observing, then you need to be sworn in. And so if you believe that is you, if you could take yourself off mute now and raise your right hand. I need everyone to answer out loud. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yes, I do.
Okay, great. Thanks, everyone. Fantastic. So who's going to be taking the lead here on the presentation of the applicant's case?
Bob, go ahead.
I can do that.
Great. Mr. Turner, the floor is yours.
The project, we're asking for a variance in the side yard setback to allow the project to be designed and work the way that the client needs it to provide them with the extended kitchen, the larger space for them, and still providing them with an outdoor living space that's available for them to sit in and use as a daily place together. The variance, the existing house is approximately 1'8" off of the property line. We've bumped in the design of the addition, so it's further in away from the property line than the existing house is by approximately 1'6", 1'7". So the setback line would be approximately 3'4" and a quarter off of the existing property line, which is further in than the existing footprint. We would like that variance to be approved to be able to go through with the project and provide the client with what they need and what they want.
Okay. Anything else right now, Mr. Turner?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Mr. Hendy or Mr. Nelson, anything you'd like to add to that testimony?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Same with myself.
Okay. Doug?
Yeah, so I would only add that, as Mr. Turner said, they are setting this addition back slightly further than the existing plane of that left wall. So this is a fairly common scenario in the city where you have an existing legal non-conforming building that's non-conforming in its setbacks. In most cases, the addition is built just extending that existing plane of the wall. So this one is actually a slightly better scenario because they are providing a little bit more of a setback than what the existing house has. So while it still needs relief, it is a slightly better condition than if they were extending that whole wall. So, and then I would also just mention that the applicant did provide in their justification statement that they had explored some other possibilities for this, expanding that kitchen internally or doing it in some other way that would have less of an impact on the setbacks. But because of the utility locations and the chimney location and things along those lines, that it just wasn't workable. So the only solution that they could come up with was the addition on the rear. So staff does feel that this is appropriate. It's similar to many other houses in the vicinity that have legal non-conforming setbacks. So we are supportive of the request.
Okay. And when you say it's similar in setbacks, is the size also similar to other homes in the area?
Yeah, so generally, this house is fairly similar to many of the houses in the area. It's also much smaller than several of the houses in this district. So, expanding with a modest addition on the back of the house is really bringing it up into a similar condition that many of the other houses already enjoy.
Okay. And how much further is it going to be extending into the rear?
I don't know if the applicant has an exact number on that. I don't have one off the top of my head, but I think it's around 10 to 12 feet, maybe.
Yeah.
It's approximately 8 feet going back.
8 feet further than the existing rear
Yes.
facade.
Single story at 8 feet to the rear.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that 8 feet is the room addition itself. And then there's also the covered porch behind that. So
Correct.
it will be a little bit further if you're including that covered porch. It'll be closer to probably 10 or 12. Yeah. 12 or 15.
Okay. But the rear setbacks are conforming.
Yeah, that still meets the rear setback requirement.
Okay. All right.
David, could I make a quick comment that
Please.
Douglas has accurately said everything, but if we were to have moved the addition further to the left than what we are at the fireplace, all of a sudden our stairs from the basement cannot be reworked appropriately without presenting more problems and being outside the footprint of the basement level. So we start to run into a different problem going further left.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, I think that's actually all the questions that I have. Any other comments in closing or otherwise from owner applicants?
No, sir.
Okay.
I appreciate you looking at this variance for us.
Sure. Okay. I think we'll leave it at that, guys. Thank you all for your time and your testimony. As I said at the beginning of the hearing, I aim to have these out within 2 weeks. As soon as I finish these, I put them into a PDF and I email them to everyone in the hearing. So you guys will have them just moments after the application is complete. I believe I'm going to approve this one. So when you guys get that decision, I will go ahead, or you can go ahead and start immediately working with Doug to get any necessary permitting going for the addition. Any other questions right now?
I want to make sure, David, I follow you correctly so that I don't misconstrue. The building permit process cannot begin until after you have gotten your approval, which might be 2 weeks from today.
Yes and no. I believe that there are some initial steps you can take, particularly knowing that it's going to be approved, to get the building permit process going. But those building permits cannot be issued until after my decision is final. Doug, did I say that correctly?
Yeah, basically you can submit your building permit application at any time, and that will get the review started for all the other agencies as well. So, building plan exam and any other agencies that need to review it can begin their reviews. Zoning will have to deny it until the decision is issued, but that would not prevent the other agencies from doing their work. So that could cut down the time on the back end.
Forgive
if
me,
you submit
Doug,
it.
but as I understand it, you guys have had the permit and the
Okay.
rejection, and it has not gone anywhere. So I'm just trying to make sure I follow correctly.
Okay, yeah, so if the permit is already in, and sorry, I didn't remember off the top of my head if this came from a preliminary review or
No,
a permit
sir.
review. So yeah, if that permit is already in, then the other agencies will have already been working on that. So I can go back into the system and double check that to see if there's any other agencies that needed any additional information or anything like that.
Okay.
But yeah, so the zoning will stay denied until that decision gets issued. And as soon as the decision is issued, I can go in and approve the zoning on it. And then that will take care of that piece.
Thank you for the clarity. We'll keep things moving on our end then.
Great. If you have any other questions that come up in the meantime, just feel free to reach out to myself or Doug. We'll be happy to help. And if you want an update on the status of the decision, feel free to reach out as well, and we can provide that too. All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, David and Doug. Have a nice day.
Thank you all.